So today I've been doing something that I have not done in 5+ years. I mean, it's been a minute, and that is doodling. I started my creative journey through doodling. Doodling changed my life, and over the last 5 years, I've just been doing digital art and painting. So today I wanted to just spend the entire day creating just with doodles. And that is just free flow, out of my mind doodles with some Sharpies and some Posca paint pens on a 12x12 gallery canvas and see where it goes. And that's what I'm doing today.
Thank you for tuning into My Day on Canvas podcast by Summer Silvery. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. This podcast is available to stream on Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcast, and YouTube. All links are in the description of this episode, including my art shop, artbysummersilvery.com.
I want to give you guys some background on what doodling means to me and how doodling has changed my life so much. And it all started in 2011 to about 2015. I was in college. And I was on and off. I was in a community college. I went to a 4-year college. I would take breaks on semesters and I'd work and then I'd go back to college. So I was not the typical college student who just was year 1 to year 4 and you're done. My college experience was a little bit more messy, I guess you would say. I was not a very good college student. Not that I partied all the time and all that stuff. I struggled a lot with the academic part of it. I learned a lot of life lessons, but the academic part of it, I struggled a ton. And a lot of that had to do with my ADHD. I was diagnosed with ADHD. I ended up taking medicine for that for about a month, but I did not like taking medicine. It changed who I was. I was able to focus, but it changed who I was. And then my body would get used to the medication and it wouldn't work. And the doctor suggested upping the dosage. And I was just like, nope, I'm just going to figure it out because I don't want to do this. And throughout like high school and college, I would doodle a ton. And that was the only times I would really be focused on the professors and what they were saying. And it helped me so much that when I got off of my medication, and I was only on it a month, but when I got off of it, I would take a dry erase board with me to college. I would put it in my backpack. It was a little dry erase board, and I would just doodle on it. And then I would erase it, and then I would doodle it, and then I would erase it, and then I would doodle it. And it helped me. It helped me a ton to focus and pay attention more. I don't know the science behind that, but it really, really helped me. And even though I did not graduate college and I took 4.5 years of it, yes, it helped me in so many other ways. And let me just explain to you how. Like I kind of touched on before, I was not the typical college student. Not only was I struggling, but I was living from home. I didn't really have many friends in college. I didn't make a lot of new friends in college. I was just never there unless it was for my classes, and then I would leave. And aside from the focusing part, there were just so many aspects of it that I was not resonating with. The way that we were being taught was not a way that I was able to learn. I felt so stupid all the time. I just felt like I had nothing to offer. And it almost felt like I didn't want to graduate college because I didn't even know what I wanted to do. There were so many job titles and things that I thought that I wanted to do: physical therapy, public relations. I was in school for strategic communications and marketing. Those kind of things were job titles that I knew existed, but they weren't the sole thing that I wanted to do. I wanted to create, but I didn't know how to make that happen or what steps to take to make that a thing. It wasn't something that was super accepted then, and that wasn't even that long ago. Definitely times have changed from what they are now. It's like a creator world out there now, but then it was like, okay, find what fits for you and head in that direction. But for me, what I was finding on paper wasn't what was resonating with me, not only academically, but just for me as a person. So long story short, I was so beyond miserable there. I didn't feel like I fit in. Aside from the academics, there was a lot of personal stuff going on as well and job stuff going on. And I just felt like I was sinking. It's not that I didn't want to learn. It's just, it wasn't the right place for me. So I found a place clear across the country. I grew up in Ohio, so I was in Ohio at the time. Found this place in Silicon Valley, California. It was an entrepreneurial program where basically everything that you learned was hands-on. Everybody that you learned from were successful people who have been out in the world and they've experienced everything that they were teaching and showing and sharing with you. It was a place that forced you to think outside of the box in all of the right ways. The environment was completely different than any of the schools or classrooms I've ever been in my life. You'd sit on beanbag chairs. All the walls were dry erase walls. And this is what leads me to doodling. Instead of being looked down on or are you paying attention when I doodled, I was actually encouraged to do that. And that's kind of the outside of the box thinking that I needed. It seems so silly right now being accepted to doodle while you're paying attention to speakers and teachers. That meant so much to me. Like what I was doing wasn't stupid. It was accepted. So what I did, since the walls all over the school were dry erase, I would write quotes, I would make large doodles all over the walls all the time. I would do that on paper, I would do that in my journals while I was listening to professors and people speak, and I would do it on the walls. But what kind of sucked was I would make all of these huge doodles on the walls, I loved them, and then they would need to be erased after a certain amount of time. I was like, okay, well, how am I going to fix this? How can I elevate my doodles? And at the time, I had graduated from my class of that immersion program, and I actually got a job position there at that school. So that was incredible. I got to stay in California and work with the school that I loved. And then on top of that, pursue whatever creative adventure I was trying to pursue at the time. I wasn't really sure of what I had to offer, because when you go years and years and years of thinking a certain way, it takes a minute to kind of reprogram that. And then spending so much time in this amazing program where they purposely make you think outside the box. It makes you think differently about your life. It gives you a new perspective. And that's something that I will always forever be grateful for. So that's when I had to take a look at myself and patterns that I've had throughout the years of things that I've enjoyed. And it was doodling. It was creating in that way. So I thought of next steps of how to elevate that, make it a little more permanent than a dry erase wall. So as I was working there, I took all my money that I had saved for that specific month and I spent it on a little iPad Pro and an Apple Pencil. That little iPad Pro and Apple Pencil changed my world. I was able to doodle digitally, and being able to transfer those doodles into digital doodles, I was able to share that everywhere, on social media, just everywhere. And because of that, so many things have happened in my life where I thought it was the doodling that would make it for me. But what's crazy is the most stability that I've gotten this far as a creative, because being a creative, it's not that it can't happen, but it's difficult when you're beginning as a creative to have a stable income. The most stable jobs that I've had have come from social media management. And that social media management skill set had come from changing my doodles into digital doodles and promoting myself on social media, getting the attention of pretty big people, Gary Vaynerchuk, Logan Paul, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Jay Sheedy, people like that. Pretty big people. And because of that, I was able to work with small companies and large companies with social media management while also creating and doing all the digital art that I wanted. And all of these things have kind of just trickled into my life in the weirdest possible ways, but it's all aligned perfectly for my path. And because of the doodling and because of going to an iPad and doing it digitally and illustrating and stuff like that, it all goes hand in hand with each other. Looking back, it all started with doodling. And I had no idea where I was going to go with that or what it really was. I was just fixing a problem that I had while I was in school. And because of that, it has led me to amazing places, from Ohio to California, to illustrating, to now painting. I'm doing this podcast. I've met great, incredible people. So I guess the lesson here is, if you are someone who is listening to this episode right now, think of something that you have always done in your life that has brought you happiness or peace, or something that kind of disconnects you from stress. See where that takes you. There is a reason why you go to that. Try to dissect it and figure it out, because there's something there. As I wrap this episode up, I just want to leave off with one more brain thought, and that is, it's crazy how much something can make such a huge impact on your life, and you may not have any idea how big of an impact it'll have for years to come. So whatever's not making sense to you right now, you just gotta trust that you're on the right path. If you're doing the best that you can with what you know now, and you continue to do better when you know better, you're doing just fine.